Hey, listen, I quit. Yeah, I'm going into stocks.
Name of the game. Move the money from your client's pocket into your pocket. But if you can make your client's money at the same time, it's advantageous to everyone, correct? No.
No one is paying attention.
It's unbelievable.
Have to act now.
God, this is intimate. I feel like I'm financially inside of you or something.
Okay.
I have 5 houses and a condo.
I'm considering going long on April wheat. What do you think, Valentine?
Hi guys, welcome to the Greedy Trader channel. Well, I'm not exactly greedy, as most of you old watchers of the channel will testify. I have the most conservative approach to trading. It's just a nice parody idea from the Gordon Gekko mantra. There are only 2 kinds of traders, the greedy ones and the fearful ones.
Greed, for lack of a better word, is good. Greed is right. Greed works.
Those of you who are new to the channel, this is where you can learn how to really trade like a professional. Every video I make is packed with real examples with before and after scenarios, so you can see that it is simply a question of sticking with the plan and not changing it because you're having an emotional meltdown. No! Welcome back, guys. It's really good to see all of you here again watching me on this channel. It's been a wild week, right? Good news is I'm still making money, and that's great. I have tough weeks too, right? And I think I've been talking about this for some time. And guys, if you are new to the channel, well, this is Greedy Trader, and these are my thoughts about trading and about why this is so hard. It's hard for me, it's hard for you too. It's just reality. I'm a professional, so I've been doing this for a very long time, so it might not be as hard for me as it is as hard for you, but it's still hard though. So I get really crazy weeks and I get really, really good weeks, and I get weeks that are just weeks. This week has been a wild week because I've been a little bit unfocused, I think. My birthday's coming up. Happy birthday to me. But I'm, sort of a little bit unhinged about age. Getting older. And no one wants to get older. But also you kind of want to get older. It makes sense to get older. Yeah, and sometimes that can play into your general mood and attitude. That's just life. But I'm still making money. Yay. Right, anyway. Why is it so hard? It's a common question, right? I wanted to unpack this. And don't worry, I'm going to give you guys a ton of value. Now, of course, if you don't already know, I sell option premium as a way to make income. It is a more stable way to make income. I also trade futures. I manage assets, so I'll trade anything. I've got a portfolio of equities, the whole rigmarole. Plus, I give you guys really good content. I help traders get to where they need to be. This is a tough business, and everyone needs support, and I do my best to do that. Clients who've worked with me can hands down tell you that I'm totally committed and passionate about what I do, and the knowledge that I've acquired over the years. There are very few people, I can say this hands down, there are very few people who have that kind of knowledge and are willing to talk to you about it, especially on YouTube. Right? I'm proud of that because I look around and I see who else is out there. Right? And everyone is still ignoring the fact that you can't just draw lines on a chart anymore. You need to have a wider understanding of what you're doing if you're going to turn this into any reasonable success. I don't do ads on this channel anymore. Is what it is. I do ads with sponsors, but I don't do Google AdSense. They pop up in the videos too much, and I don't think you guys get the value you're supposed to get. It's better to work with sponsors that can offer you value at the same time I can offer you value. That's what I do now for the channel. So you're going to get this long extended videos that you can watch in peace, and any ads on the channel I put there, because that's what I want to be able to do. I want to change the way people look at this space, right? And if you believe in that journey and you believe in that idea, then subscribe, because I think I put out videos now about 3 times a week, I think, give or take, sometimes twice a week. But whatever the case, you're going to be able to sit back on your weekends and you're going to be able to look at what I've been doing through the week, and I'm going to talk you through this, and you're going to hear my thoughts, and I'm hoping to guide you in a psychological way through this minefield, this hellscape that's trading. Why is it so hard? That's the question on the table. Well, it's hard because traders overcomplicate things. And I will give you an example, but traders overcomplicate things. You're always thinking, you're always trying to figure out another way. Sometimes get one thing to work first before you think about adding anything else, and have a good reason as to why you want to optimize. To be fair, for a long time I wasn't following my own rules. I effectively was always optimizing for better and greater returns, but you get to a point where you realize that, well, it's probably not going to get better than this, because we're human and we're now having to compete with robots. So there you go, it's probably not going to get better than this. Anyway, what are you looking at? Well, I sold premium on Google, 180 puts. This is a bull put spread, so there's a spread in this, i.e. I've paid per contract about $5 on the wings, so not a big deal. And this thing looks like it's going to go to 0. If there's a pop, I could sell a bit more premium, but probably not going to do that. I have been exploring, maybe looking at bear call spreads, but haven't gone there yet. I'm primarily a put seller, as everyone would know. It works. Right? And talking about making this work for your life. Why is it so hard? You overcomplicate it. I'm not. I'm doing something really simple, which is selling option premium, and it pays me out every week. That's it. I might get a week where it gets a bit hairy. Maybe I can't collect the premium, or I have to shave it in half. I have to go for break even, whatever the case. Right? But I'm going to try and make income that week, and I've got a near 90% probability that that's going to happen, because when you sell premium, that's just kind of what it is. Some, even in professional space, right, this is done a lot, and some people will call it, especially a lot of the sell side, they will call it a hurricane trade, because it works till it doesn't work. But as the more time it takes with you doing this, and the more you understand it, you realize you can make it work for years, as I have done. So bottom line is that perfectly doable if you don't overcomplicate it. Anyway, I sold premium. I'm pretty sure we've got 1 day to expiry. These are the Feb 21st, 180 puts on Google on a bull put spread. So got nice buying power reduction. Got decent amount of clips in. Should be a good week. 1 day to go, fingers crossed. Theta should burn this out. We got 16 cents of theta in this. So providing Google manages to stay above 180, we shouldn't have a problem. Pre-market is 185. We shall see. But that's the thing, right? It's not complicated. I'm not overcomplicating it. I'll give you another example. So let's pop over the profile. I've been doing something exciting, because I realize I've got all these sponsors, especially around the prop firm space, which is becoming massive. And I've been desperately looking for a futures prop firm that I wanted to kind of associate with, get as a sponsor for the channel. I realized that a lot of the space is moving towards futures. I had no idea this will happen, because if I cast my mind back, especially in Europe anyway, in the US, different story. But if I cast my mind back to maybe decade ago, we're in 2025, so not a decade ago. Let me cast my mind back to 2009, 10, right? It was all Forex in Europe. It was all FX. Today, there is a genuine interest in futures trading. Amazing. And this all came about because of this prop firm space. Anyway, as a consequence, I have got, as you probably have seen from the channel, 1 or 2 sponsors that are prop firms, but I have gone through painstaking digging to decide the ones that I want to be associated with, because there's never ending stories of these bloody things just exploding and blowing up and disappearing. I guess that's the problem when kids start booking trading firms. It's going to be an issue. Anyway, I have decided to associate with a lot of firms that I think are credible, and I tried to do some digging. These things are bloody opaque, but I tried my best to do some digging. So I've got what I think is a really good roster of guys that are probably not going to blow up in your face, and they're pretty decent, good service. And for me to discover that, I've had to try some of this stuff. I literally had to take money out of my pocket to figure out, are these things legitimate? Do they do what they tell people they do? There's so many people who have different perspectives and ideas. So I managed to narrow it down, at least so far, to 2 prop firms that I think are particularly good in the FX and everything else space, right? Because there are not too many equity prop firms, but one of the prop firms that I've got sponsoring has an equity side to it that people can also get like prop firm money for, which is great because hardly anybody does that. I don't know how good it is because that side I never really went down. I'm a great equity trader as is. Don't need a prop firm for that, to be honest. I can handle that myself. As you can see, I sell premiums, so why would I want to do that? Talking about why it's so hard and keeping it simple, that is precisely it. So I don't need to. But I know the firm does, and they've got some potential there. The whole idea is to figure out, are these guys legit? So I've got EA and a company called Fivers, been around for a long time, seem to know what they're doing. I think looked like they were the first firm to have what you would describe as a scaling program. So you can basically scale. They just keep adding capital, I think up to about 4 million. I don't think anyone's made it to the 4 million, but I know that they're certainly traders, from what I see anyway, they've made it to about 1 million. So great stuff. So I've done a lot of digging on these guys. And so another one popped up the other day, which is on futures. And I was like, oh, great. This is amazing. It looked fairly new, fairly decent. And I thought, well, the only way I'm going to find out, I did some digging. Doesn't look like there's massive money behind them, but it seems like the people running it, they're good with their technology. So somehow, they've managed to get some money, and they've set this thing up. It seems to looks good on the surface anyway. So I figured I'll try it out, and I'll, what's the big deal? So I purchased one of their programs, and I started to trade it. It's all futures, but you can't hold the positions overnight. Ooh, that sucks, because the beauty about futures and commodity trading is catching the big trends, right? Because commodities are non-correlated. So if you're trading commodities, you don't have the same correlation risk that you have if you're trading, say, for example, Forex, which is largely everything's correlated, really. So everything's inverse to the dollar. Or you're trading, for example, equities. There's a lot of correlation there as well, right? Between the S&P 500 and the rest of the market. So if you're trading any kind of futures product that is commodity based, like agri commodities, for example, these things have a high degree of non-correlation to each other. which makes them a great vehicle to catch trends in and have a diversified futures portfolio, which is not something you can easily do in the equities market. Because once you start getting the movement in those SPY options and you start getting movement in the S&P 500 futures, then everything else starts to go in the same direction. So any good commodity trader will tell you that they like commodities because they have a degree of non-correlation, right? And if you're option and futures, I always say this wrong, right? So option on futures, that's the word, right? So if you're an option on futures trader, right, trade futures options, whatever, you will really benefit from this kind of marketplace. So anyway, I was excited that there was someone trying to do futures prop firm. Now I know they're older ones, I've heard about them before, but I did my homework. The stories are horrendous, from people making money, not being paid out, from them just changing things all the time. It looks like a nightmare, but they've still been going for a while. There's been a lot of sustainability because for some reason traders are still doing these. So seeing this other firm was really good. So I decided that, okay, I'm going to purchase one of these things. Right, point in case, I'm not doing badly at all, right? I'm actually making money on this stuff. But in any case, right, despite all the restrictions and doesn't really suit the way I would like to construct a portfolio, firm's pretty decent, right? And actually, let me see if I can, somewhat give you guys a bit of a snippet. So, making about $2,000. Apparently, I'm supposed to make $7,600, and they're going to pay me some money, right? So we're going to find out. Well, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to do that. Point in case, guys, it's not going to be an update every week on did you pass your challenge. I really don't care if I did or I didn't. I'm trying this so I can see if it's a legit firm, and if you guys want to be able to do this and you need that kind of access to capital, then it's not a bad way to go. But they have to be legit, the rules and everything else. To be honest, they're a bit limiting. As you can see, you've got to kind of keep the trades under $1,500, right? Otherwise, it's a problem, because they got this consistency rule, which means that your largest gain can't be more than, I think, 20%, right? So 20% of your entire profit over the time. And as you can see, I became the idiot who wanted to really ramp this up. So I have to kind of keep keeping it under this 1,500 mark. So I went about $60 over, which would be an acceptable 20% of $7,600. Yeah, it's a bit hairy, right? It's difficult when you have to operate with these kind of benchmarks, because ultimately that's what you're trying to more or less, that's the point of trading, is to make as much money as you can. I'm pretty sure there are days where I'd seen the opportunity to just freaking run this thing out of the park, but couldn't. So I mess about with it where I can, so I can see the engine. They use a pretty decent platform, Trader 8, which is pretty good. It does what you need it to do. And this is a futures firm, so I only trade futures on here, and that's it. So I've messed around with almost all the products, lived through, and whether the account shut down or what it not. Well, to be honest, none of that has really happened. It's been pretty decent. It's been pretty kosher. Firm's got a nice little trading journal as well that you can kind of mess around with and see how you perform day to day, month to month. But I'm a professional, and look, right? I've had to keep it super simple to deal with things like this, and I can see people going after stuff like this and they don't really know what they're doing. So again, like I always say, I can help you get to where you need to be, even with stuff like this, right? So it makes sense that I jump in the ring a little bit and see what an old codger like me can do. I'm not quite an old codger, but I'm getting there very slowly. But yeah, so anyway, I gave it a go, right? So I've had it for a bit now. It's not a bother. I'll grind it to the number, and then I'll test and see if they pay, basically. And I'll be back to you guys. But that's it. So anyway, thought I'd just jump in there. Right, so anyway, back to what I was saying. So partly why that came up was because I had a short on corn, right? Corn futures. Right? As you can see, I use market profile for all this stuff. I don't need the other charts or anything else. This thing tells me what I need to do, and I do it. It's really simple, and I can just execute it. So anyway, I was short corn, right? I'm short corn. Ever wanted a prop firm that would just fund you and you get to prove your ability? Meet Tradify, the futures prop firm doing just that. Choose from tailored funding programs that align with your trading style, offering account sizes up to $750,000 with the ability to go straight to funded account, skipping evaluations. Experience seamless trading with their integration with top-tier platforms like Tradeovate, providing powerful features and access to the latest technology in the futures market. Enhance your strategy with automated trade journaling, offering in-depth analysis to refine your performance. Follow a transparent path from evaluation to live funded accounts with clear rules to support you at every step. Start trading a fully funded account now with Tradify. Please use the link in the description below. It supports the channel and our sponsors. Small position, by the way, I'm not taking, that's the other point I got to make, right? Again, why is it so hard? Like, people want to over leverage. I've had that account for 53 trading days. I don't really care. People say, well, the firm can shut down and what. It's like, look, for what I paid into the thing, technically speaking, I got $7,600 of wiggle room for a couple hundred quid. And that's it. I've got no other headache. Still do what I do. I still make money. I don't need that to make money, but so I don't need to be worried about it. I don't need to be stressed about it. I don't need to even think about it. So I can trade small sizes and really get a feel for it, and just, it's $7,600. I'm not going to be shooting for the moon, and that's the problem with these things, is that people make it so difficult. So if the trade didn't work out, it's not a big deal, you know. In any case, I'm short corn, and I'm saying, well, I'm looking at it from the perspective of, well, if I'm going to do something like that, I need to keep it super simple, right? I don't have much flexibility. I can't catch trends. So there's a bit of a restriction here. What's the easiest way to do this? And that's how you got to think as a professional trader. What's the easiest way to have something repeatable that's simple? So I thought, okay, well, I could work off a commodity class that a lot of people don't trade, right? And that's agricultural commodities, right? I know a great deal about those things. That's the importance of market knowledge, like knowing about different asset classes, right? I know how it all works. So I'll do that, agricultural commodities, right? So most of my profits come from trading agricultural commodities, right? So I shorted corn this morning. I don't know where it's going to go, but I'm using what's called the opening range concept, right? So I've picked out an opening range, something that I want to do a breakout against, and I'm going to just move with that particular range, right? Anything above or below that range, depending on my direction, I'm getting out of that trade. Really simple, right? And if it pushes out, corn has sometimes a 9-10 point range. I think at its peak, it's about 18 point ranges, I think. It's had 18 point ranges before, but typically looking at anywhere between 9 and 12 point ranges. So there's a good opportunity to fade this stuff as well, because the agri markets, whilst they do have a kind of pre-market, they have these periods where they close, right? And a lot of the bigger traders, they've gotten used to this open and close setup. So there's an opportunity to fade these things, the extension of their ranges, right? Give you a good example of that. So split this profile for a second, right? You can see at pop, as we pushed into the highs, right? We had this slight touch of where stops would be resting, like what they call them these days, liquidity zones, and we backed out. It's a complete fade. and it's a smooth price action. This is a daily profile, it's not even a weekly one, right? Got a bit of an offer stack up here, we're riding into that. It does look like we're going to go higher, but because we had this overextension from the aftermarket or the pre-market side of regular trading, if I look back, I can't really see that type of extension coming out of a pre-market, right? Just one occasion where we had similar and then we broke out and there was a fading opportunity. But it's not common, right, to have an overextension in the way we've had it today. So it was tempting to have a short position coming into a major US Open. Okay. Really simple idea. So do an opening range break, fade it depending on range extension. That's it. That's the beauty of having a market profile and understanding the concepts around it. So I've made my life a little bit easier. I don't need to think about it. If it comes off, well, I already know that corn can run 9-10 points. So if we break out, we start to go. We're looking at potentially at the very least $4.93, so $4.93 on corn, or 493 cents, right? 493.5 at the fair price, potentially, right? On a breakout. And what would that mean? It will also mean that we've triggered a pivot a bit low, but that opens up the gate potentially for future decline, right? To maybe $4.89. Or we could just go higher and I get stopped out really quickly and life's good. So that's the point, right? Again, going back to that initial point of why is it so hard? Well, we overcomplicate it, and that's what we don't need to do. We don't need to overcomplicate it. We need to keep it super simple. It's okay to be wrong, but if it was a coin toss, it's 50-50. So if you were wrong 50% of the time, right 50% of the time, then really it's just down to your risk management. So if you were used to taking the losses, smaller losses, and at least trying to grab a little bit more gain, you're still probably going to turn a profit. If you had a gain of 0.5 on top of your whatever you risked, and it was 50-50, even with commissions eroding it, you're still probably going to make money. That's the point, right? So, point in case, it's about good risk management. That's it. It doesn't need to be more complicated than that. And of course, you need a system. Like you say, I've explained to you in a short space of time what I'm doing with this specific trade, and I've got no reason to overthink it because I've got enough data here to show that that idea has worked in the past. It could do more than a 50-50, and I'm looking at range extension of capturing 2 or 3 points with potentially a point risk in every trade, right? Potentially 4 or 5 points even, right? And I'm in a non-correlated asset. So you can see why I'd want to do that. That's an example there. So, it doesn't have to be hard is the point. It doesn't have to be difficult, but I understand a lot of you guys are listening to the wrong people. That's what's going on. Everyone's listening to the wrong people. The people who have all these ideas and they make it super complicated, but it doesn't have to be. There are you need broad market knowledge. There are a few things you need to learn. Like I always say, if you feel like you want to reach out to me, you've got questions, you can. I can help you, but as I always say, you've got to open the door. I can only show you the door, but you got to walk through. I think that was Morpheus, right? I think it was Morpheus in the Matrix, right? Anyway, I'm not Morpheus, but the bottom line is that I can only show you the door, right? That's all it is. That's why I have this channel. My whole purpose when I first started this channel back in 2012 was to uncover all the ideas that were in the professional space, and I wanted to, kind of open it up a little bit. It's not a big channel because obviously the people more predisposed to, trading are the people who like to follow the people out there who are creating all this crazy made million a year stuff, right? And that's the allure, that's the attraction to trading. I prefer to talk to people who have some responsibility. Maybe you've got a family, maybe you're really wanting to do this professionally. And those are the people I kind of want to talk to and reach out to, because they're the people that I get the most joy working with. I can relate to at a later stage, if I've mentored them to a point, and we can always exchange information, trade ideas. I can see their development and their hunger to want to move forward and do this, right? And it makes me want to invest more and more time in them for nothing, right? For no additional money, just because I really, really care and I'm invested in their journey, right? And that's how it is. So a lot of people are just like, give me a secret sauce. It's like, come on, be realistic. What secret sauce? ICT silver bullet? It's all bullshit. It should be obvious that there's no silver bullet. If there was, I'm pretty sure that some trading firm or bank would have bought it all up, wrapped it all in patents as far as the eye can see, and that would be it. In the high frequency trading world, people who came up with silver bullets often ended up in jail, and their silver bullet ended up in some suit's pocket. It's just what it is. So there is no silver bullet, so you should be able to just make sense of that and just realize that that is the case. But however, with broad market knowledge, you can develop an edge, and with a good understanding of, also having a degree of broad technical knowledge. That's why I talk about market profile. Market knowledge, obviously, I talk about option premiums and how that works, and understanding risk across the entire market space, and how you can bring that into workable theories, and also things like understanding the fundamental landscape and how that affects the overall decision making of the larger money. So for example, I look at position data, right? So this is all stuff that, people work with me, they understand and they get to know, and they grow as traders, and we can now speak on a level, and that's important. Because I can't wish away my own market knowledge. It's no good. Some of the part of this conversation I'm having with you, it's for some of you, it's just going to wish over your head. It's like, I have no idea what this dude's talking about. So show me the secret sauce. That's all I need. Some of you had already left. It's boring stuff. But that's the thing. It's about broader market knowledge. And if you're still here, thank you very much. And before you leave, just hit the subscribe button. But ultimately, it's about broader market knowledge. Right? That's the point. Damn. Google's 185.27. Yes, these puts are going to get crushed. Yep. So with every tick, feeling more and more confident, and that's it. It's a done deal. And this wasn't my perfect premium sell, by the way. I like to get these a little bit better. I was a little bit off base on this one, but looking at the 5-minute window, I could have actually tapped this out at least the day before. Well, actually, I did get it the day before, but I could have tapped it out for about $1, which is exactly what I was looking to do. And I was just there on my part. I covered that in the video that's come out before this one. You will probably see this one, I believe, on a Sunday. I think it will be a Sunday, but it was my finest, but I'm still making money on it. There's just a bigger edge in selling premium, right? Put premium especially. Of course, when you look at the call side, you think, God, this is a money printer, but that's where the hurricane trade really comes in. It goes well till it doesn't. If I were ever to sell a call, I would probably do it as maybe a bear call spread, for example, which would be the equivalent of a bull put spread, which is what I prefer. I like the bear calls and bull puts. Don't particularly like clear my throat. Don't particularly like the strangles or any straddles. Yes, if I'm buying the wings, I need a buy side for buying power reduction, but it's purely a buying power reduction though. Especially when those premiums get a little bit cheaper and you want to maximize a little bit, you feel like you need to pushing to get some buying power reduction. That's perfectly fine. So I buy the wings. Those are dead sticks anyway. But I'm not going to be long premium for any other reason than maybe a strategy to reduce buying power. But things like straddles and that do put you in that position where you're going long, what I like to think very inefficient strikes. Anyway, point in case, digress slightly. This is going good, making money, but it doesn't need to be so hard, right? That's the point. And some of this stuff I can genuinely show you guys to help you get to where you need to go. But again, you need to enter that door on your own. Yeah, it's been a long one already, but that's it. That's why I'm here. I sit here and have these conversations with you guys. Till next video, adios.
Hey, listen, I quit. Yeah, I'm going into stocks.
Name of the game. Move the money from your client's pocket into your pocket. But if you can make your clients money at the same time it's advantageous to everyone, correct? No.
No one is paying attention.
It's unbelievable.
Have to act now.
God, this is intimate. I feel like I'm financially inside of you or something.
Okay.
I have 5 houses and a condo.
I'm considering going long on April wheat. What do you think, Valentine?